Let's stay now with the conflict in the Middle East. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has told Fox News this operation isn't just about protecting Israel.
We can't have the world's most dangerous regime have the world's most dangerous weapons. We're protecting ourselves, but by doing so, we're protecting many others.
Joining me now to discuss this and more, Strategic Analysis Australia Director, Peta Jennings. Well, Peter, give us your sense of things. How long do you think this is going to last, the trading of blows in the Middle East?
I think we're going to see significant air campaigns, airstrikes against Iran, at least for a week or so, Peter, and that's because the Israelis want to make sure that they are thoroughly destroying the nuclear program and also chemical and biological weapons programs. But I think more broadly than that, going after a significant amount of infrastructure which is necessary more broadly to support those programs. And also after the senior leadership of the Iranian military, and depending on how things go, perhaps also their political leadership. So this is going to last, let's say, a week in terms of intense combat operations, and perhaps even longer.
Okay, we've talked a bit already on the show about the assets, the infrastructure that's been hit, but I think you've touched on there the leadership that have been annihilated in these precision bombing raids. Give us an understanding of how important that will be to possible regime change in Iran. It happened very quickly in the case of Syria recently. I suspect because they've been there so much longer, it's more difficult in Iran. But give me your take on things. Are we going to see regime change, Peter, do you think, in the short to medium term, potentially?
Well, we've seen the Israelis are saying perhaps 20 senior military leaders have been killed, including the Commander-in-Chief of their military, the most senior general, the Chief of Staff of the Iranian Guards Corps, which is also a most significant internal security apparatus. We've seen the commander of the missiles and drones killed, a senior advisor to Ayatollah Khamenei, a political advisor. So this starts to go to the leadership group that is around Ayatollah Khamenei. It seems that the reporting is, Peter, that the Americans have said to Israel, don't go after Khamenei himself. But I think that the Israelis are doing what they can to make sure that Iran cannot come back from these strikes quickly. And a model for this is a little bit like what they did with the Hezbollah leadership in Lebanon just a few months ago. They know where these people are, and they are very deliberately attacking them. And I think that shows you that beyond taking out the nuclear program and missiles and so forth, there is an attempt now to do serious damage to the senior leadership structure of Iran as well.
And Donald Trump says, of course, the US are not involved, but they could become involved. What would cause that to happen?
They're involved. They will clearly be providing a range of intelligence support to the operation. US naval assets have been responsible for shooting down a number of drones and missiles, which were part of the early stage Iranian response back. Something that I will tell you with a degree of certainty, Peter, is that Israel will be calling on air-to-air refuelling assets that goes beyond what they can provide for themselves. They've got a long way to go to send these aircraft to get to Iran. America is involved already. And most importantly, they're providing backup. They're saying directly to Tehran, don't extend this war. Don't go broad. Don't go attacking American interests more widely through the Middle East. And therefore, America continues to be the indispensable power, Peter, even though they're happy to let Israel be the country which is doing the striking.
You know, as this played out on Friday, I just kept going back to that Obama-Iran deal and all the billions and billions of dollars paid out potentially, they said at the time, for peace. Was it worth a jot?
No, it was not. It was a disaster. I mean, it got a small amount of controlled behaviour on the nuclear program, but nothing that has stopped Iran from getting very close within weeks of being able to develop a bomb. It pushed a whole lot of money back to Iran, which they then used to fund Hamas and Hezbollah and to attack Israel. So, you know, when the histories come to be written about this period, that Obama deal will be seen to have been a disaster and something which has led us step by step directly to where we're at today, where really Israel has had no choice in order not to face an enemy that calls for its destruction with nuclear weapons. They've had to do what they've done. And now they have to go on through and complete that process to make sure that Iran can't come back to this stage anytime soon.
All right, I just said before to Chris Hillman, I'd like to be a fly on the wall at this meeting between President Trump and Prime Minister Albanese. I mean, you know, he'll have nowhere to hide, our Prime Minister. It'll be the Emperor who's got no clothes on defence spending in front of Donald Trump. I do not think they'll do that sort of usual diplomatic dance and he'll get away with not spending what the US demands we spend. How do you think it'll go?
Well, I suppose Albanese will be hoping for the lightest of sort of, grip and grin kind of corridor meetings, but I don't think he'll get that. And I think our own government's spin that this is just what a new administration does is correct. The administration's been in power for half a year now. They've very clearly said what their expectation is in terms of Australian defence spending. They know we're failing them on that score, and they know that our government has been full of backhanders towards Trump and his personality. So this could get quite ugly, I think, in terms of America saying, we're not walking from AUKUS, but Australia, if you want to keep in AUKUS, the price has just gone up. You're going to have to do more. I think that is what the shape of the meeting is going to be like.
We will watch your analysis with interest. Thank you, Peter.